just line this up good. Good enough. Let's talk ayahuasca. So I want to start off by saying that I think that there is a misconception that taking things like ayahuasca, shrooms, LSD are like pathways to get to the ultimate, or as other people have said, shortcuts to get ahead. And I just want to say that there are no shortcuts to get ahead, especially in this space where we're talking about attaining the highest possibility, becoming the greatest version that you can be, becoming enlightened, knowing. Knowing is the greatest form of liberation, at least that I've experienced. And there are no shortcuts to it. It's something that has to be earned. You cannot drink enough ayahuasca, take enough LSD, pop enough shrooms to know. You have to earn it. And it is earned by sheer hard work and dedicating your life to trying to know the truth. I also want to say that I think these things, ayahuasca, LSD, shrooms, even weed, are great teachers if you are willing to have a look at what comes up, if you're willing to look at the whole thing as an opportunity to learn the lessons that come up, to have a look again at all the things, all the issues, whatever comes up. I think it's a great opportunity to learn from these experiences. And so these things I think are great as teachers, but to try and use it to reach the ultimate, it is not gonna happen. So now that we got that out the way, my ayahuasca ceremony. So I did my first really set of ayahuasca ceremonies in Peru, in the Amazonian part of Peru, about 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago. And I want to talk about all four of them, but I will talk about the first one in this video and the others later. So in that first experience, I got everything that I really wanted. Really, I got more than what I could have even asked for. I don't know if you guys know who Sadhguru is, but this first ayahuasca experience was like an attempted insight into Sadhguru's life and how he views the world and how he kind of just exists. What was felt was absolute consciousness, absolute aliveness and intensity, and absolute consciousness. I think they go kind of hand in hand with each other. Consciousness. God, this is like everything. It's knowing, and you know and have access to know everything. You just know what to do now and next and next and next and next and next. And there's no confusion. There's no hesitation. There's no fear. There's like nothing there but knowing and existing absolutely, totally alive. I was so alive. That's like the most alive I have ever felt. I was so alive that I actually thought, I don't think I'll ever have to sleep again. That's how alive I was. And consciousness, since it is knowing, and since knowing is liberation, it is a privilege. It's a privilege to know. And it was so clear that this thing that I have access to, the state that I'm in right now, is a privilege. It's like an honor to be here. And it has to be earned because it is liberation. And if you do manage to achieve that state of consciousness, then that also comes with the highest levels of responsibility, which is where Sadhguru is existing, because he was in so much of that whole journey with me, not just in ayahuasca, well, in life too, but in ayahuasca, he was a part of that whole experience, and I could see all these things going on with him, which he has actually achieved on his own. I could see these things kind of happening within myself, like it's like an attempted insight, right, of what consciousness could be. And I say it like that because I took something to open up the bandwidth and to achieve this state. I didn't achieve it on my own. This was externally induced. I can only imagine how much more powerfully one would be existing, even how much more deep and powerful the consciousness and the aliveness would be if you achieved it on your own. Sadhguru has also said that the spine is the axis of the universe. And I clearly saw in the dark abyss the human spine just kind of going off in the distance. And it was just so clear that if one is willing, then you have the opportunity to put the entire existence on your back. And it's not like it's just you. Every single thing that is connected together with the entire existence, they all have the opportunity to just be outputting, to simply be giving, to be giving and to outputting their energy and to be putting the entire existence on their back, which is how I clearly saw Sadhguru, that this man, this being really has the weight of the entire existence on his back. And I mean, that can't be understated. That is like the most significant thing. A couple of like insightful lines that kind of just sprouted up. One was the very first thing that a being, I was gonna say like a child, because you're birthed and then you have this opportunity to do something, but I'll just say a being must do is ask the question. The way that the question has been perceived in society is, who am I? The way that I felt it in this ceremony was, where do I come from? What is the source of my creation? Ultimately the same question. And this is not in like a biological sense of, oh, I come from my parents. That's where I was birthed into this physical realm. This is more of the very life in me, the source of creation that's giving this body life. Where does this come from? This needs to be the first thing that is sought after. Not that you're gonna immediately find out once you ask. Again, you have to put in the work and dedicate your life to really know the source, the very source of your creation, the source of all of our creation. This is the source of creation. The second thing to know after asking that question is to be able to watch the breath naturally happen. This is moving from compulsions into stillness and having the awareness to sit so still that you are able to create the distinction between you, your body, you, and your mind. And you're able to simply sit and watch the body breathe. That's the second thing to do. I don't know what the third thing is, but a couple other insightful lines. It was so clear. I think I had intellectually understood it, but I never really felt it like I did until I was in this ceremony, that the only thing that is real, that exists, is right now. You know, a lot of our times we run into the past or the future, more so I think the future of what could happen. And tomorrow never happened to anyone. Not because tomorrow is out of reach, because tomorrow doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is right now. And so it is of the utmost importance that we channel all of our efforts to be here, to really feel the magnitude of right now, of this moment, because it is the only thing that is real. Everything else is just a psychological happening. This is the only thing that's real. This moment is where life is breathing. Whew. The last thing that I want to touch on is that I really felt is the importance of listening to your body. Your body is so intelligent. It had the intelligence to go from 2 cells into this entire complex being without any of your help, without any of your or my intervention, without needing anything. It already had the intelligence built inside it. It's so smart. You consume anything, you eat anything, a fruit, a vegetable, meat, grains, fish, sweets, sours, whatever you eat, the body has the intelligence to take that food and to transform it and make it more body. Like this body can make whatever I eat into this body. The dog's body can make whatever the dog eats into the dog's body, the cat's body into the cat's body. That's how intelligent, that's the level of intelligence that this thing possesses. And when it comes to eating, you need to listen to your body. You need to ask your body, what is the best thing for my body? What is the best thing for you? What is the best things that I can be eating to help you function at your optimal level? This is questions. Health happens with the body, by asking the body, not by having an idea of what health could be, or not by asking your tongue what tastes the best, but by really asking the body. They also say that the gut is the second brain. Some people say that it's the first brain, because again, the gut is directly linked to the body, and your body is talking to you. God, can you believe this? Your body is talking to you, and we're not listening to it. And what our body is saying is literally the best things for us. We've become too present in our head, and the mind chatter just runs wild, that we've almost become numb to the body. But if we can regain presence within the body and feel what the body is telling us, I am telling you that it is telling us the best things that we can do, or the best things for us. So it was just so crystal clear in this ceremony, the importance of listening to the body. One last thing I want to touch on, and then this will be it, is there was a moment in there where I was, not even a moment, this was like the entire time, I couldn't stand, right? I was just physically just drunk is the best way to put it. I couldn't stand, and I needed to use the bathroom. I couldn't even crawl to the bathroom. This is just the condition that this ayahuasca had put me in. But I had such a big problem of asking for help. I think I had this like ego, or this identity of thinking that by me asking for help, that's like making me a less of a being. That's like lowering me to this person who's asking for help, who is like weak or is not good or something like that. And I like sat in this state of just not asking for help for like, I lost all sense of time during this ceremony, during all the ceremonies. I think it could have been like 2-3 hours where I was just, I was having all sorts of things going on, but I needed to use the fucking bathroom. And so I refused to ask for help. And it was just so clear that there's no reason to have these kind of ideas be so attached to your ego, thinking that if you ask for help, it makes you like lower. If you really need help, shit, you gotta ask for it. Otherwise, nothing's going to get done. And there's absolutely nothing wrong in asking for help. And so I also want to touch on just one last thing that came to mind. I've taken LSD, shrooms. Please don't think that I'm condoning any of these kind of things, this behavior. This is just the route that I took. I've had bad trips on shrooms a couple times. And those were, when I take a step back and look at it, things come up, thoughts come up, ideas come up. And I think I was like latching onto these thoughts and like marrying them and taking all the emotion that comes with it. And it was like the thought was driving the trip, right? The experience. And I had to take everything that came with it. In ayahuasca, since I was a seasoned psychedelic experimenter at this time, I knew that when thoughts come up, the thing to do is not to latch onto them and to let them drive you and dictate the way this thing goes. The thing to do is to, as they come up, sit back and be a witness. look at it as an observer and just kind of watch what's going on. And then you can choose to move however you want to move. But if you latch on to these things and let them dictate the way that you go, I think 9 times out of 10 it goes in a sour way, because there's resistance in there somewhere. At some point in that little like journey of latching on, it's trying to show you something and you're trying to hold on to this identity, and there could be some sort of friction. And that's never good when you're so vulnerable. And so I think the thing to do whenever thoughts come up, whenever really things come up, is not to latch on it, not to marry it and die with it, but to have a look at what is coming up. Be an observer, be a witness. So that is, in a nutshell, ceremony number 1. I will make a much more full depth in video where I actually talk about the specifics of the things that I was feeling as I was going on. That's just gonna be a lot longer, and I didn't want to overburden anybody with this, but this is what I felt. I can't say that you're gonna feel exactly what I felt, this whole consciousness thing, because whoever I did it with, there was about 20 of us, no one else felt this thing. Everybody's experience was very different, and I think that, ayahuasca and all these kind of things show you what you need to be seeing at that moment in time. My ceremonies later on were much different than this, so it's not like I had this the entire time either. So I will leave you guys with that. Thank you for watching. I hope that this has been of some value for whoever is planning on taking ayahuasca, for whoever has taken ayahuasca and they just wanted to see someone else's, experience of it. Or even if you aren't planning on taking it and you just wanted to see what the hell this video was about, I hope this has been of some value to you. Let us please make sure that we are present here right now, because this is our time.